Hello, my name is Lily.
And my name is Max.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talk Fluent Hub. I'm so happy you're joining us today. Whether you're listening on your commute, in your room, or taking a little break from your busy day, we are really glad you're here.
Hey there. Great to have you with us again. You know, every episode we try to bring you something useful, something real, something you can actually use when you're speaking English in your daily life. And today we have something really exciting.
We really do. And actually, before we get started, I want to say something. I was talking to a friend last week. She's been learning English for about 2 years, and she told me something that really stuck with me. She said, I use AI chatbots to practice my English every single day, but sometimes I feel like the English it teaches me sounds a little strange. And I thought, wow, that is such an important thing to talk about.
That is such a good point, because a lot of our listeners are probably using AI tools right now to help with English. Things like ChatGPT, Google Bard, translation apps, these are everywhere. And yes, they can be incredibly helpful. But today, we want to talk about something really important. We want to talk about the difference between AI English and human English.
Exactly. By the end of today's episode, you're going to understand why sometimes AI-generated English sounds a little too perfect or a little too stiff. You're going to learn what makes human English sound natural and warm. And most importantly, you're going to pick up some real, everyday phrases that actual people use when they talk to each other.
And here's a question for you, our listener, right now. Have you ever used an AI tool to help you write or speak in English? Tell us in the comments. We really want to know. Did it help? Did something feel a little off? Share your experience with the Talk Fluent Hub community.
Yes, please do. We read every single comment. And also, if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to Talk Fluent Hub so you never miss an episode. We upload new content every week, and it's all designed to help your English sound more natural and more confident. All right, let's get into it. Buckle up because this topic is really going to open your eyes to how English actually works in the real world. Okay, so let's start with the basics. What do we actually mean when we say AI English? When you ask an AI chatbot to write something in English, it produces language that is grammatically correct. It follows the rules. Every sentence is complete, every word is used properly. But here's the thing. Real human conversation doesn't always sound like that.
Right. Think about it this way. If you asked a human friend, hey, how you doing today? They might say something like, I'm okay, a little tired, didn't sleep great. But if you asked an AI the same question, as a kind of experiment, it might say something like, I am functioning optimally and ready to assist you with any queries you may have, which sounds a bit strange, right?
It does. It sounds like a robot. And that's because AI language models are trained to be precise, formal, and complete. They don't make the kinds of shortcuts and natural patterns that humans use every day. For example, in real English conversations, people leave out words all the time. Instead of saying, I am going to go to the store, a human would just say, I'm going to go to the store. Or even just, go into the store, back in a bit. And this is something we want you to really notice. Humans use something called ellipsis. That's when we leave out words because the context makes it clear. So instead of saying, do you want to come with me? A friend might just say, coming? And instead of, I don't know what the answer is, you might hear, no idea. These short, punchy responses are very natural in spoken English.
Now here's a little practice for you. If someone asks you, did you eat lunch? What's the most natural human response? Is it A, yes, I have consumed my midday meal? Or is it B, yeah, I just grabbed something quick? Tell us what you think in the comments.
The answer is definitely B. Grabbed something quick is a beautiful example of casual, real English. The word grabbed here doesn't mean physically grabbing food with your hands. It means getting something fast and easily. This is what we call informal vocabulary, and it's everywhere in human English.
Let's look at a few more examples. If an AI was writing an email to cancel a meeting, it might say,
I regret to inform you that I will be unable to attend the scheduled meeting due to unforeseen circumstances. Now, that is correct. It's polite, but it's also very stiff and formal for most situations. A real person, even in a professional email, would probably write something like, "Hey, so sorry, something came up and I won't be able to make it to our meeting. Can we reschedule? Really sorry for the late notice." See how that version has personality? It has warmth. It feels like a real human being wrote it. The key difference is warmth and personality. Humans add little phrases like "so sorry," "really sorry," "just wanted to let you know," "hope that's okay." These little additions make the language feel connected, not just correct. So remember this from section 1. AI English tends to be complete, formal, and precise. Human English tends to be shorter, warmer, and full of personality. Both are correct, but they serve different purposes. Knowing the difference will really help you sound more natural when you speak. Great job getting through section 1.
Now let's move into something really fascinating. One of the biggest differences between AI English and human English is how we express emotions and how we connect with other people. AI can describe emotions, but it doesn't always use emotional language the way humans do naturally.
That's such a good distinction. So, for example, if you asked an AI to describe feeling excited, it might say, "I am experiencing a heightened sense of anticipation and enthusiasm." Now, technically, that's correct, but no human being has ever said that to a friend. What would a real person say?
They'd say things like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited," or "I can't wait," or "this is going to be amazing." Notice how humans use emphasis. They stretch words out. They use capital letters when writing. They use exclamation marks. The language is packed with energy.
And here's something really important about human emotion language. It's often exaggerated. Humans use what we call hyperbole, which means exaggeration for effect. For example, "I'm starving." You're probably not actually starving, but that's how you communicate that you're very hungry. "I'm dying of embarrassment." You're not actually dying, but the exaggeration makes the emotion feel real and vivid.
AI tends to avoid this kind of exaggeration because it's trying to be accurate. But in real human English, this kind of expressive language is totally normal and totally expected. So here's your practice for this section. How would a human say, "I was very surprised"? Write your answer in the comments. Some options might be, "I was totally shocked," or "I couldn't believe it," or "my jaw literally dropped." All of these are natural and very human.
Now let's talk about connection language. The little phrases humans use to build relationships and show that they're paying attention. For example, when a friend is telling you a story, you don't just sit there silently. You say things like, "No way." "Really?" "Oh, wow. That's crazy." "I totally get that." "Oh, I know exactly what you mean."
These are called conversation fillers or back channels, and they're incredibly important in real English conversation. They show the other person that you're listening and engaged. An AI having a conversation might not naturally use these. It might just wait for you to finish talking and then give a full, complete response. But a human peppers the conversation with these little reactions. Here's a fun way to practice. Next time you're watching a TV show in English, with subtitles if you need them, pay attention to these little reaction phrases. You'll hear them constantly. Things like, "Oh, come on," when someone is frustrated. "You're kidding me," when someone is shocked. "Tell me about it," when you agree completely with something frustrating someone said. These are pure human English, and they make conversation feel alive. We also want to mention something called hedging language. This is when humans soften what they say to be polite or to show that they're not 100% certain. Instead of saying, "That plan is wrong," a human might say, "I'm not sure that plan would work," or "Maybe we could try a different approach." AI sometimes hedges too, but humans do it very naturally in conversation. And the comparison between formal and informal is really important here. Formal human English, I would appreciate if you could reconsider your position on this matter. Informal human English, hey, could you maybe think about it again? Same meaning, completely different feel. Knowing when to use each one is a huge part of speaking natural English. Remember, context is everything. Quick recap from section 2. Human English is full of emotion, exaggeration, reaction phrases, and hedging. These things create connection, and connection is what language is really all about.
All right, we've reached one of my favorite parts of today's episode. Let's talk about slang, idioms, and all those wonderful, confusing, beautiful phrases that make English feel so alive and that AI sometimes gets completely wrong or just doesn't use naturally.
Oh, yes, this is where it gets really interesting. So, idioms are phrases where the words together mean something different from what the individual words mean. For example, kick the bucket. That doesn't mean literally kicking a bucket. It's an informal way of saying someone died. Break a leg. That doesn't mean you want someone to break their leg. It means good luck.
Now, AI knows what idioms mean. If you ask an AI to explain an idiom, it can do that very well. The problem is AI doesn't always use idioms naturally in conversation. It's a bit like knowing the rules of a game versus actually playing it well. The knowledge is there, but the natural instinct isn't always present. Here's another great example. The idiom on the same page. If two people are on the same page, they understand each other and agree. So in a meeting, a real person might say, okay, so are we all on the same page about the plan? But an AI might write, do all parties have a mutual understanding of the proposed plan? Both correct. One sounds human, one sounds robotic. And slang. Slang is even harder for AI because slang changes so fast. Words that were cool 5 years ago might sound embarrassing today. For example, the word sick. In slang, sick can mean something is really amazing. That new song is sick means the song is incredibly good. Now, an AI might know this, but slang is also very regional and generational. What teenagers in one country say might be completely different from another. Right, and here's something really important for our listeners. You don't have to use slang to sound natural. In fact, using slang incorrectly can actually make you sound less natural. It's better to learn the slang gradually by listening to native speakers, watching shows, and reading. Don't force it. When you're ready, it'll come naturally.
Let's do a little practice right now. I'm going to say a phrase and I want you to guess what it means. Ready? I'm swamped right now. What do you think that means? Write your answer in the comments. Is it A, I'm swimming, B, I'm extremely busy, or C, I'm in a bad mood?
The answer is B. I'm swamped means I'm extremely busy. I have too much to do. This is a really common idiom in work and daily life. I'm sorry I haven't called. I've been totally swamped. You'll hear this one a lot.
Here's another one. That meeting was a bit much. What does that mean? A bit much means something was excessive, too intense, too dramatic, or too demanding. Her reaction was a bit much. It was just a small mistake. This phrase is very natural and very human. Now, a tip for polite conversation. When you're not sure about something, instead of saying, I don't know, which can sometimes sound a little blunt, try these softer human alternatives. I'm not entirely sure, but that's a good question. I'd have to think about it. Not sure off the top of my head. These phrases are warm and genuine, and they keep the conversation flowing. Practice time! Say one of these out loud right now. Actually, say it. Repeat after me. That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. Great job! The more you practice saying these things out loud, the more natural they'll feel. So to wrap up section 3, idioms and slang are core parts of human English, but they need to be learned through real exposure, not just textbooks or AI. Listen for them, note them down, try them carefully, and over time, they'll become part of your natural English voice. Okay, let's talk about mistakes. And I want to be really honest here. When I was learning English, I made all of these mistakes, every single one of them. So if you recognize yourself in any of these, please don't feel bad. Mistakes are how we learn. They're how everyone learns.
Absolutely. And these are mistakes that often happen when people rely too much on AI or translation tools for their English, or when they model their speaking style too closely on the very formal language those tools produce. Let's go through them.
Mistake number 1.
using overly formal language in casual situations. This happens a lot when people learn English from textbooks or AI. For example, saying, "I wish to inquire about your well-being," instead of just, "Hey, how are you doing?" In casual English, formal phrases can actually feel cold or even a little strange to native speakers.
The fix? Pay attention to the situation. Are you in a job interview or writing a formal email? Then more formal language is great. Are you chatting with a friend or making small talk? Then go casual. Hey, how's it going? What's up? Have you been? These are the phrases real people use.
Mistake number 2, translating word for word from your first language. Every language has its own logic, and sometimes translating directly creates sentences that are technically understandable, but sound strange. For example, in some languages, you might see the equivalent of "I have hunger," but in English, we say "I'm hungry," not "I have hunger." This is such a common one. Another example, in some languages, people say something like "I have 25 years" for their age. But in English, we say "I'm 25 years old." We use the verb to be, not to have. These small structural differences matter a lot for sounding natural.
Mistake number 3, using AI-generated language for emotional conversations. This is a big one. If you're texting a friend who is going through something difficult and you use very formal AI-style language, it can feel cold and disconnecting. For example, if a friend says, "I'm really stressed about my job," and you reply, "I understand that you are experiencing elevated stress levels regarding your professional situation," that's going to feel very strange. Instead, you'd say something like, "Oh no, that sounds really hard. Are you okay? Do you want to talk about it?" That warmth, that genuine concern, that's what human connection in language looks like. And AI, no matter how advanced, still struggles to replicate that naturally.
Mistake number 4, being too perfect. This sounds funny, but it's real. Sometimes when people work too hard to produce perfect English sentences, they actually end up sounding less natural. Real conversation has pauses, ums and uhs, half-finished thoughts, and sentences that start one way and end another. And that's okay. It's human. Here's a reassuring thought. Native English speakers make mistakes all the time. They say and like and constantly. They forget words. They start sentences over. The goal of language is to communicate and connect, not to be a perfect grammar machine. Keep trying. Keep practicing. You are doing amazingly well just by listening to and learning with us at Talk Fluent Hub.
All right, it's time for one of my favorite activities, our Choose the Correct Sentence practice. I'm going to give you 2 sentences, and I want you to think about which one sounds more like natural, human English. Ready? Let's go.
Situation 1. You're texting a friend to cancel plans. Option A, I regret to inform you that I am unable to fulfill our scheduled social engagement this evening. Option B, hey, I'm so sorry. Something came up. Can we do it another time? Which one sounds like a real human text message?
Obviously, option B. Option A is technically correct, but it sounds like a legal document, not a text to a friend. The key is the casual tone, the hey, the so sorry, the exclamation mark, and the alternative offer. Can we do it another time? All of these signal warmth and friendship.
Situation 2. You're at work, and your colleague asks if you understood the new instructions. Option A, yes, I have a comprehensive understanding of the newly delivered instructions. Option B, yeah, I think so. Just to double check though, are we starting on Monday? Which sounds more natural in a friendly workplace?
Option B for sure. It's confident, but also shows you're engaged and making sure. Just to double check is a wonderful phrase. Write that one down. It's polite, it's professional enough, and it's very natural.
Situation 3. You want to ask your teacher a question, but you're not sure about something. Option A, excuse me, I possess a query regarding the subject matter. Option B, Sorry, could I just ask a quick question? I wasn't totally sure about one part. Which is better?
Option B again. Could I just ask is so natural and polite. And I wasn't totally sure is a perfect way to ask for clarification without sounding confused or negative. These are the phrases you want in your toolkit.
Now here's your challenge. I want you to create your own sentence, something you might say in real life, using natural human English. Maybe it's how you'd greet a colleague, or how you'd ask for help, or how you'd cancel plans. Write it in the comments. We genuinely love reading what you come up with. And remember, real conversation beats perfect grammar every time.
Wow, we have covered so much ground today, and I am genuinely so proud of you for sticking with us all the way through. Let's take a moment to recap everything we talked about, because there was a lot of great stuff in today's episode of Talk Fluent Hub.
That's right. So today we looked at 3 really important areas. First, we talked about the structural difference between AI English and human English. AI tends to produce complete, formal, precise sentences. Human English is shorter, warmer, full of shortcuts and personality. Both have their place, but knowing the difference helps you sound more natural in real conversations.
Second, we explored the language of emotion and connection. Humans use hyperbole, reaction phrases, hedging language, and little fillers to show warmth and stay connected. These things are really hard for AI to replicate naturally, and they're incredibly important for real relationships and real conversations.
And third, we dove into the wonderful, chaotic, ever-changing world of slang and idioms. We talked about how understanding them is different from using them naturally. And we learned some really useful phrases like I'm swamped, on the same page, and a bit much, all things you can start using right away.
Now, here's a reflective question for you to think about, and please share your thoughts in the comments. After today's episode, what's one thing you're going to do differently when you practice English? Maybe it's paying more attention to emotional language in shows. Maybe it's trying to use more casual phrases in your texts. Maybe it's just giving yourself permission to be a little imperfect. Whatever it is, we want to hear it.
And before we go, if you got value from today's episode, please give it a like. Share it with a friend who is learning English. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Talk Fluent Hub. We are here every single week with new episodes, all designed to help you speak more naturally, more confidently, and more like a real human being.
Because that's what this is all about, isn't it? Not just learning rules, not just memorizing vocabulary, but finding your own voice in English, connecting with people, being understood, and understanding others. You're doing something really brave by learning a new language, and we are so honored to be a part of your journey. Language is one of the most human things there is, and the more you engage with real human English through conversations, through listening, through brave moments of trying, even when you're not sure, the more natural it will feel. We believe in you. Keep going, and we'll see you next time.